Good mythical morning, shitlords. I'm back. Look at this nonsense. One win out of 3,487 attempts, and the majority of them were not mine for once. That's absurd. It's actually ridiculous. So you might be wondering why I'm back after an extended hiatus from this level in particular. Well, the truth is, I've been extremely busy lately. You know, school is ramping up, has been ramping up for quite some time, but we just hit Thanksgiving break. That's right. Well, technically speaking, it's Thursday, so there's like one more day of classes until Thanksgiving break, but I got all my work done because I'm a smart lad. God damn it. Despite what the internet will have you believe, I'm a smart lad who does smart things, like getting my work done slightly ahead of time and having just enough time to have a little bit of recreational activities. So that's what we're doing today. We're having ourselves a little bit of recreational activities. And what better way to relax and recreate ourselves than to get extraordinarily frustrated by this goddamn level. I'm ready for it. I hope. If I actually am, I couldn't tell you. But, you know, if you're here, that means you've probably seen the other ones, so you know full well that this is really just a 20-30 minute long soliloquy with a thin veneer of Mario Maker incompetence smacked on to boot. Just for fluff. Just for fluff. That's not really relevant to the main content here. So let me think. What have I been up to recently? I've been playing a lot of Hades. Hades is a pog ass game, dude. And I don't say that lightly. That's not a score I give freely. You gotta really legitimately pog my ass to get a review like that. Let me tell you something. I haven't been playing Hades as much as I would have enjoyed. You know, like I said, been busy, but also just other games have sprung up in the meantime. You know, like there are a lot of games that I was very, very excited to pick up this year, and then just haven't really played as much as I thought I was gonna. For example, Crusader Kings 3. You know, I'm a big fan of grand strategies when I know how to play them. And so, you know, I really like CK2, but that's with, I don't even know what, like 10 years or something worth of DLC content tacked on. You know, they've really, really fleshed out that game, and Crusader Kings 3 just isn't there yet. In my opinion, it's not nearly as fun, honestly. And this is a ad hoc review, like 6 months after the game came out, so it's not really the time or the place for it, but what better time and or place than, what time is it now? It's 12:30 on a Thursday, well, Friday morning. Yeah. Shit, dude. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I always choose to record this fucking piece of shit level at the most ungodly hours of the morn? Well, I still got it. You know, I mean, more or less. The fact that I was able to get there after, how long had this been? 4 minutes instead of 3 hours like last time. That speaks volumes, I think. We still remember some of what we were up to. It's been a while. Yes, I think, when did this level come out? Like maybe September? So like legitimately 2 months. One, boop, nope. I messed up the count there. So yeah, it's been a long time since this level came out, but like I said, I've been busy and also just very frustrated this level. I didn't think I was gonna come back to it, but here we are. Here we are. Ah, son of a bitch. That one hurts. that one hurts my pride just a little bit. To get the count right and then die to the spike that's just kind of here for no reason. It wounds me. But that's okay. We've been hurt before, and we're we're prepared to be hurt again. We all knew what was going to happen coming into this level. Am I excited for Thanksgiving? Yes and no. I'm excited to be out of school. Son of a gun. I didn't mean to jump there. I reflexively hit the button. I'll blame my base instincts on that blunder. But I'm excited to be out of school for a week. Having a break is always nice. I'm excited to see my folks, to get good food and all that. But at the same time, like, it's gonna be real weird, because all this COVID stuff, right? Like, we're not really supposed to be, well, I say supposed to. Like the government is gonna dictate what we can and can't do. Well, I mean, I guess technically it does, but like it's gonna have that much say in our daily lives. For our own well-being, it's not advised that you meet up with folks that have not been staying with you for extended periods of time. But here I go anyway, right? Going to see my family of both sides of it. Oh, God. On the one side we got my mom and her father. They're living together. So, my grandfather's like 83, 84 years old now. In the risk zone, and he's been having a hell of a time with it. It's not been going too hot for him. He's very social. Like, you might be thinking, well, Cayman, you're pretty social. You do nothing but sit here and talk at people for half-hour long bursts at a time on your YouTube channel. Well, you're not wrong. But, like, he takes it to another extreme. He'll go to, like, restaurants and do that shit where it's face-to-face, in person. He'll, like, I won't say harass, because that has a different connotation, but he'll give the waiters a hard time, like, I remember one time we were going to, I guess technically this isn't a waiter situation, but same general idea. We were going down to, like, I don't know, North Carolina, I think, because we got some family out there, so we were driving out to see them, and we stopped at a McDonald's, and he walks up to one of the folks attending, and he's like, "Hey, I got a question for you. If you can answer it, I'll give you, I don't know, like $5 or something." And the guy goes, "All right, shoot." And my grandfather hits him with a, how much does the patty of a quarter pounder weigh? And they were just stumped. It's in the name, right? But here we are. And that's the sort of stuff he'll pull. He'll go up to folks who look like they don't know how to handle themselves in an unexpected situation. I don't know if tease is the right word, but he'll make his own amusement one way or another. Which is kind of fun. But at the same time, it's fun to, like, be 3 steps back from. If you're sitting down at the table with him and he does that shit, then it starts being like, "Oh, I won't be associated with that." I don't want to be associated with the guy who's flustering the waiters, I don't want him, like, spitting in his meal, and then, like, by association, like, he fucked the whole table. But anyway, all that to say, my grandfather has not been having a good time over quarantine, because he's not supposed to go out and do that sort of stuff. So, that's gonna be interesting, seeing how everything's shaking out with them. I already grew a beard, which I've never seen before, not on him anyway. I've kind of done the same. I don't know if it actually shows up in the camera or not. Maybe a little bit, but it's starting to grow on me. But yeah, I went and got a COVID test today, actually, at the behest. Well, yeah, as of 40 minutes ago, it would have been today. I don't like referring to today around the midnight hour, but you know what I mean. I went and got a COVID test. There's no way in hell I have it, but my mother is a worrywart. And she was like, all right, make sure you get it before you come home. I said, okay. Yes, ma'am. That sucked. That was legitimately one of the worst doctoring experiences I've had in my life. And so what they did for it, right? They got this long, like, thin Q-tip almost. They just shove it way the hell up your nostril. And then they got it, like, in the back of your nose, further than I've ever had anything up there before. You know, it's not an orifice meant for that kind of insertion. And then they just kind of wiggle it around. Like, all right, you having a good time? You comfy? And I'm like, no, I'm not. That sucks to suck. Yeah, it took like a solid, I don't know, minute and a half of just kind of up in my nose before they were like, all right, you're good to go. Couldn't tell if I wanted to sneeze or cough or just kind of die. But that was fun. Would not recommend, but you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do. Frankly, I didn't have to do it. There's no way in hell I have COVID. I have not... I've gone outside, like... I don't know, maybe 5 times since school started. Which is not a brag. It's not been particularly fun, but it's not been particularly unfun either. I have a good time playing my Vidya. God damn it. Dude, why do I do this to myself? Why did I decide to play this level in particular? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because, in theory, there's still that $50 on the line there. And in practice, there's a hell of a lot of pride going into it. Shit. Son of a bitch. You know, whenever I was recording this last, I recorded like, I don't know, an hour and a half of me talking. And then I was like, alright, my throat's starting to get sore. I'm gonna just shut up and go until I beat the level and then edit that in. Did not happen. Played for 3 hours after I said I was gonna shut up. Did not happen. So yeah, that's the caliber of level we're dealing with. If that hasn't been made expressly clear to you. Frankly, I don't know if this video is ever even gonna get released, but hey, I'm recording it. It's something for at bare minimum. It's something for me to look back on in 3 years and go like, oh yeah, I was doing that. That was a thing I decided to do. That's not to say I plan on stopping, you know, recording or streaming or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's a little time capsule of my thoughts for the current half hour. You guys ever do time capsules? I never did, but I knew a couple of folks that made one, and it always seemed interesting. If you don't know what a time capsule is, it's the general idea is you get like an airtight container of some sort, you know, so that stuff doesn't rot, and then you just kind of jam it full of things that are like semi-important or you know, maybe just like relevant to your life at the time. It doesn't have to be anything of like, you know, national import, though there are time capsules that are like historically relevant. Like I think I saw an article a couple years ago, and yeah, this is practically baseless, but let's just assume for the sake of argument that I am remembering this right. It said like Ben Franklin or one of the founding fathers left a time capsule to like the city of Philadelphia or something like that, saying, hey, alright, you can't dig it up until like 250 years have passed since I died. So there are some historically relevant time capsules sitting out there, but I think it's just a cool concept. You know, if I ever have a kid, that might be something I'd have him do once or twice. Like, all right, you'll thank me for this someday, and if you don't, maybe some future archaeologists will. You think there's gonna be future archaeologists? Like, we've got so much information about ourselves just kind of floating around already in digital form. Well, I guess, I was gonna say that it means we almost wouldn't need archaeologists because there's just so much information about us already. But, like, at the same time, there was a whole big thing, is a whole big thing going on with, like, VHS stuff, Nobody uses VHS anymore, and so it's very hard to actually get information from a VHS tape and, discern whatever it is on there. Because, like, you can't hardly find VHS players. And so there have been some comments going around saying that might happen to the internet as we know it. It's very, very likely that at some point down the line, the internet, as we know, will become obsolete. And everything that we have said is just gonna get swept away in a sea of information. It's Brave New World all over again, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we're living. There's too much information out there. Frankly, I think things were better when there was less information. They say ignorance is bliss. But at the same time, well, I don't know that ignorance is bliss so much as knowledge is easy to misinterpret. And hear me out on this one, right? There's a saying, and I'm not a religious person, there's a saying that, like, the first sip from the glass of science turns you into an atheist, and then at the bottom of the glass you find God, something to that effect. I think the same can be said of just information about the world in general, like, people are like, oh man, look at how much horrible stuff is happening out there, the world is a terrible place. Just because they're privy to all of the horrible things happening around the world simultaneously. But, like, if you look at it on a micro scale, or even on a macro scale, the density of bad news is quite small. There are a lot of bad things happening all the time, for certain, but there are also a lot of good things happening all the time, for certain. And more so than either of that, there's a whole lot of nothing important happening all the time everywhere, but that doesn't get reported on. You gotta look at things in perspective a little bit. And so, I think that devoting too much of your time to just scrolling the internet leaves you awash in a sea of bad news, because that gets sensationalized. And so then you think that everything is terrible, when in fact, that is almost as far from the case as humanly possible. A bit sad, innit? Bit sad. Speaking of bit sad, what was that fucking performance there, man? You had it. You blew it. God, what was that? What was that? Man, I'm feeling a little hoarse. I don't know why. It's not like I've been talking today. And in fact, I have been speaking less than usual this week. I blame that COVID test I took. Fucked up. The ears, note, and throat. Ears, note, and throat. Ears, nose, and throat. That's how you say that. Thank you very much. But yeah, like, I didn't stream today because I was just getting work done. I thought it was going to be a really stressful week, and it kind of was to some extent. Because, like, I had 3 different homework assignments all due tomorrow, Friday, and I had a test today on Thursday, and normally I stream on Thursdays, and I was like, it's just not enough hours in the day for all this shit, man. There's just not enough hours in the day. And, yeah. Essentially, I managed to get through all of that, but sacrificed the 4 hours I would normally dedicate to a stream. So yeah, I'd say that's a viable use of my time. If it weren't for that, then I'd be recording this at, well, I'd be going to bed, but in theory, I would be recording this at 4:30 in the morning, and that's 10 times worse than recording at 12:30. You know, I have a habit of staying up until the wee hours of the morning, but that doesn't mean I'm anywhere near coherent at that point. If I'm even coherent right now. I think we've been on like 12 different topics of conversation in the 20 minutes that I've been recording this, so, you know, maybe not exactly a coherent train of thought, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. On a completely separate note, someone told me, and by someone I mean Moon, who you guys may or may not know, depending on how long you've been watching the channel. Moon told me the other day, actually it was probably like 3 months ago, I'm just thinking of it now. He was like, man, you use too many phrases. You use too many turns of phrase. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And, you know, he's like, well, take what I said just now, alright? That's the way the cookie crumbles. He's like, what are you talking about? This isn't fucking 16th century Britain. Nobody sounds like that anymore. And I said to him, have you, like, picked up a book in the last 3 years? Or for that matter, ever? You know, turns of phrase are a key to a good sense of communication. They're key to spicing up your communication, for that matter. You know, if you don't know your phrases, if you don't know your idioms, get out there and learn a few. Come back to me and report your favorite ones. You know, for all those of you guys still watching 21 minutes into, what is this, like episode 10 of this particular level, go learn a couple of idioms and tell me what your favorites are. And we'll all learn something together. But the legwork's on you. Son of a bitch, dude. I spilled water all over my shirt. Water bottles suck. Let me just throw that one out there for the general populace to consider. Water bottles suck ass. There's no happy medium with a water bottle, right? It's just an inconvenient... Well, I don't know that it's the water bottle itself. I think water as a substance is just finicky. But, like, I swear, every time I drink from a water bottle, doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the design of the lid, there's like a 50% chance that at the end of the draught, it goes everywhere. And that's just because, like, the surface tension of water, right? Yeah, it sticks together, which is really weird for a liquid, but... yeah, water is a weird chemical. It really is. Like, very few things are capable of binding to itself the way that water does. To themselves, I guess. Because hydrogen bonds, right? You know, water composition is H2O. That's, son of a gun. That's two separate hydrogen bonds, which means it can just form these, like, long, semi-stable chains. And that's what, you know, if you ever, like, slap the surface of a pond, or, like, thrown a rock into it or something, there's a reason that, like, you know, the droplets that come up maintain their form. They maintain, not exactly a spherical shape, but it's, you know, they stick together the whole flight. It's because of the surface tension there, and that's caused by hydrogen bonds. Dude, just fucking hit the spiny. What are you doing? I'm going into Chem 101 over here and completely forgotten how to play Mario. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with this. I really did. Water is weird. Right. Yeah. So not only is it, you know, does it have a very, very high attraction to itself. It's a narcissistic fucking chemical. But it also, like, expands when it freezes. You know, that's why ice floats, because it's less dense than water. That's weird. That's not unique, but pretty close to it. It's got way too high heat capacity. It takes way more energy to heat up water into a steam than most things for going from liquid to gas. Like, take like dry ice, right? What is that? Is that frozen CO2? I forget. But like that doesn't even go from liquid or from solid to liquid to gas. It just goes straight solid to gas. That's how easy it is to heat up. Yeah, that's crazy. Water is weird. Water is weird. But it's because of how weird it is that it's such a useful element for life. There's a reason that our bodies are like 70% water. The main reason is that, well, I guess there are two reasons. One is that it's, both, it has the capacity to act as an acid and a base. Since an acid is made up of hydrogen ions, and then a base is made up of, what's the word? It's like hydroxyl ions? I can't remember. I think that's right. I don't know. But it's, the H by itself acts as an acid, and then the OH acts as a base. So when you split water, you end up with a 1-to-1 ratio of acids to bases. That's why water has a pH of 7. But that also means that it's a very, very good solvent. It's, the universal solvent. And so it's very useful for, like, carrying around stuff from point A to point B in the body. And then also it's very good at absorbing heat, like I said, which means that, your body has to maintain a very specific temperature. If you catch a fever, you die if it goes too high. Or if you'll freeze to death if it gets too cold. Water is very good at regulating its own temperature because it takes so much energy to change it. It's an interesting chemical. It really is. I took, well, I don't even know. I guess 2 semesters of biology and 2 semesters of chemistry in college, but I had to take some in high school too, so it's more like, 2 years of either. And we spent a decent amount of time just kind of figuring out what water was for. I think it would be kind of cool to take, just a class about water. And technically I am, but I'm doing engineering stuff. I'm doing biological engineering, which sounds like it should be, like gene editing and stuff like that, but no, it's more just like mucking about in rice fields and rivers and shit. So I am, like, taking classes about what to do with water, but it's not the same idea, That's, like, where to push water, not how water is used in the body. I think a class like that would be pretty cool. While I'm still getting my money's worth out of college. Though, for it to actually be, like, anything worth your while, it would be probably a difficult class, so then again, I could use the blow-off time. I really could. I'm hoping this semester will end up being a pass-fail. The last semester, I guess spring of this year. Man, it really has been a while. Feels like ages since spring 2020, but that was this year. But yeah, the first semester, our college did a pass-fail thing. So, like, if you had grades you didn't like, then you could say, hey, make these classes count as just pass-fail. They don't count to the GPA. It's just, did you pass it or did you not? I really, really hope that they do that this semester, because I'm not getting my 4-point anymore. I had all A's last semester, and so the pass-fail wasn't useful at all. But then this semester rolls around, I'm looking at my grades, and I'm like, to get an A, I'd have to get like 100 on literally everything that comes after this point. Like all the homeworks, all the quizzes, all the exams. Not in every class, but in 2 of them, 2 of the 5 I'm taking, it's like practically impossible to get an A. So I'm like, I really hope that the pass-fail rolls around. That way I can just, cruise through it, not have to worry. Like I could get a B, I could get a C. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. That's I don't mean to sound like an underachiever here, but I kind of aspire to be an underachiever. I think that getting what you can for the least amount of effort is, if not admirable, then respectable. It's not like college really matters that much anyway. Yeah, I said the same thing about high school, to be fair, and it kind of didn't. It kind of did, but it kind of didn't. But like once you're out there working, you're home free. Education is at least the system as it's set up right now. The educational system is just kind of a vector for students to go into the workplace, and so once you hit that, it doesn't matter too much. Anyway, that is half an hour, so I think we'll call it here for now, yeah? Thanks for being here, everyone. As always, I've been CaimanSense, your host, and if there is a next one, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.